Prudence. It is not a fashionable word. It does not sound bold. It does not promise rapid success or dramatic transformation. And yet, throughout history, prudence has quietly separated those who endure from those who collapse. In 1647, alongside the art of worldly wisdom, Baltasar Gracián published The Pocket Oracle and Art of Prudence, a collection of reflections designed to sharpen judgment and refine character. Where his earlier work offers broad maxims on navigating the world, The Pocket Oracle concentrates on something more precise. It teaches how to think before acting, how to measure risk, and how to maintain strength without unnecessary conflict. This is not a book about playing small. It is a book about moving intelligently. Welcome to 10-Minute Books, where we break down the world's most powerful books into practical lessons you can apply immediately. Prudence begins with awareness. Most people operate on reaction. They respond emotionally to criticism. They accept opportunities without evaluating them. They speak to fill silence. The prudent person slows down. They observe tone, motive, and context. They ask, what is really happening beneath the surface? In everyday life, this means pausing before replying to an email that triggers you. It means resisting the urge to post an impulsive opinion online. It means asking yourself what outcome you truly want before taking action. Prudence creates a small space between impulse and behavior, and in that space lies power. Gracian emphasizes timing as a decisive factor in success. The same words can build bridges or burn them depending on when they are spoken. A brilliant idea presented too early may be dismissed. A confrontation launched at the wrong moment may create resentment instead of resolution. In the workplace, timing determines whether feedback is welcomed or rejected. In personal relationships, timing can turn honesty into harmony rather than conflict. Prudence asks you to read the room, sense the emotional climate, and act only when the moment supports you. Another key principle is strategic reserve. Modern culture rewards constant sharing, yet Gracian warns against full transparency. When you reveal every ambition and every plan, you surrender leverage. Predictability reduces influence. The person who speaks less but observes more often understands the game more clearly. In practical terms, this means keeping your long-term goals private until they are stable. It means allowing your work to speak before your promises do. It means not revealing every frustration or insecurity in moments of stress. Silence, when intentional, increases credibility. Reputation is central to prudence. Gracian understood that perception influences opportunity. You may be intelligent, capable, and disciplined, but if others do not perceive you that way, your influence is limited. Today, your reputation exists both offline and online. Every comment, every collaboration, every public action shapes how others see you. Protecting your name means acting consistently, honoring commitments, and avoiding shortcuts that create long-term damage. Reputation compounds like interest. So does distrust. Prudence also demands emotional discipline. Anger feels powerful, but it exposes vulnerability. Desperation signals weakness. Envy clouds clarity. The prudent person practices emotional regulation daily. In ordinary situations, this might mean stepping away before responding to criticism, declining arguments that offer no benefit, refusing to compare your progress to someone else's curated success. Emotional control is not suppression, it is mastery. Gracian also reminds us to choose companions wisely. Environment shapes standards. If your circle normalizes mediocrity, your ambition quietly declines. If your circle values growth, discipline becomes easier. This applies not only to physical friendships, but also to digital influences. The voices you consume shape your thinking. Prudence means curating your inputs carefully. Limit exposure to negativity. Seek conversations that sharpen your judgment. Long-term thinking may be the most practical lesson of all. Impulses are short. Consequences are long. Before making a decision, ask whether it strengthens your future position. Does this expense support growth or merely satisfy emotion? Does this habit build stability or invite regret? Most regret stems from impatience. The prudent person sacrifices immediate gratification for durable advantage. In finance, this means saving and investing rather than indulging constantly. In relationships, it means choosing stability over drama. In career, it means building skill quietly instead of chasing recognition prematurely. Gracian would argue that prudence does not eliminate risk, it refines it. The prudent person still acts boldly when necessary, but they do so after reflection, preparation, and timing. Courage guided by judgment becomes powerful. Courage without judgment becomes reckless. There is also an element of self-knowledge embedded in prudence. Many failures come from overreaching, promising more than you can deliver, competing in arenas where you lack competence, accepting roles driven by ego rather than readiness. Prudence asks for honest evaluation. What are your strengths? Where are your vulnerabilities? What environments amplify your ability? When you know yourself clearly, you choose battles wisely. In the digital age, prudence has become even more valuable. Reactions are public and permanent. A careless comment can circulate widely. A moment of anger can become a lasting record. Prudence online means thinking twice before posting once. It means recognizing that silence can protect opportunity. In professional life, prudence builds authority. Leaders who remain composed during crisis gain trust. Colleagues who speak thoughtfully are heard more carefully than those who speak constantly. Strength does not require noise. Influence does not require spectacle. Gracian's insight is subtle but transformative. Success built on speed often collapses. Success built on prudence endures. The Pocket Oracle is structured in concentrated reflections, each one dense with meaning. It is not meant to be rushed. It is meant to be revisited. You do not read it once. You consult it when decisions feel uncertain. Perhaps the most practical habit you can take from this book is simple. Build the habit of pause. Before major decisions, create distance. Sleep on it. Step away from emotion. Reflect before reacting. Over time, this habit alone changes the trajectory of your life. Because prudence is not a dramatic gesture. It is a pattern of small, disciplined decisions repeated daily. Pause before acting. Protect your reputation. Choose timing carefully. Control emotion. Think long-term. Speak less than you know. And there is one more subtle lesson woven throughout Gracian's writing. Prudence creates independence. When you think carefully before acting, when you regulate emotion instead of reacting, when you choose timing instead of rushing, you become less controlled by circumstances. You stop being pushed by pressure. You stop being manipulated by urgency. This independence is quiet but powerful. It allows you to navigate office politics without becoming cynical. It allows you to handle criticism without collapsing. It allows you to decline opportunities that look impressive but do not align with your deeper goals. In a culture obsessed with speed, prudence slows you down just enough to see clearly. And clarity is advantage. Imagine how different your outcomes would be if every important decision passed through 3 filters? Is this aligned with my long-term direction? Is this the right time? Am I acting from strength or from emotion? That small framework alone could prevent years of regret. Gracian reminds us that wisdom is not accumulated in a single moment of insight. It is practiced in ordinary situations, in how you respond to disagreement, in how you manage ambition, in how you protect your time and reputation. The world will always reward spectacle in the short term, but it rewards prudence in the long term. And the long term is where real influence lives. So perhaps the true power of the Pocket Oracle lies not in any single maxim, but in the mindset it builds. A mindset of deliberate action, of strategic silence, of composed strength. In the end, prudence is simply this: thinking before moving, observing before speaking, and building a life that does not collapse under its own impulsiveness. That is wisdom applied. That was The Pocket Oracle and Art of Prudence by Baltasar Gracián, explored here on 10-Minute Books. Which lesson will you apply today? Timing, emotional control, strategic silence, or long-term thinking? Let us know in the comments. And if you value timeless wisdom delivered clearly and practically, subscribe to 10-Minute Books and turn on notifications so you never miss our next breakdown. Because true wisdom is not loud, it is lived. Prudence, it is not a fashion.